from the Star Tribune. Letter to the FBI from shooting suspect made wild claims about Klobuchar and Walz, sources say. Slow down. That headline's terrible, Star Tribune. What's the story? How about this? Vance Bolter, accused assassin, the man who they say went to the homes of these Democrats and killed them, reportedly claimed Tim Walz told him to do it. Now, there's a headline. I wonder why they didn't go with it. Star Tribune says, in a rambling conspiratorial letter addressed to the FBI, alleged assassin Vance Bolter claimed Governor Tim Walz instructed him to kill U.S. Senator Amy Klobuchar so that Walz could run for the U.S. Senate, according to two people familiar with the contents of the letter. The letter is the clearest evidence yet of Bolter's mindset after the targeted violence against Minnesota politicians last week. It is incoherent, 1.5 pages long, confusing, and hard to read. According to two people familiar with the letter's contents, it includes Bolter alleging he had been trained by the U.S. military off the books and that Walz, who is not running for Senate, had asked him to kill Klobuchar and others. When is the Senate race?
Klobuchar?
Yeah. Let me pull it up. Is that going to be 2028? Yes. I believe 2028. So it's weird that they said who's not running, because we're 3 years out, and he certainly could if he wanted to. I don't know why they would say that. And it is fascinating that he claims he was trained secretly by the military. Here's a question. For what reason did they decide to write this from the presupposition that he was incoherent and insane, instead of literally just reporting on he wrote a letter that made these claims? It is strange to me when news outlets inject opinions into what is supposed to be a news story and use a weird headline that doesn't really convey the subject of the story.
One reason that is that they don't just give you the neutral data is because there's no tone. So like if you heard this guy on video saying, and he was like, I swear they were telling me to, and then you know right away he's crazy because you hear his tone. But if you just read the words that came out of his mouth in a published article, you might just believe it's not.
Here's a question for you, Ian. If someone said that in a court, would the immediate assumption of the court be that his tone proves him crazy?
No.
Or they instruct you, would they say the subject of the claims is what matters, the credibility of the witness is for you to decide?
Right. Yeah, they would.
So it would be, so this is my point. Have there been circumstances where people have been MK Ultra'd? Well, that's why we have the phrase MK Ultra, because we know that it's happened. Right now, I think the probability that this guy is of sound mind is very low.
Yeah.
But I don't know why. I would not call it appropriate for a news outlet to write their story doing everything they can to make you come to a conclusion about the mental state of the man before they convey the facts, which is what the news should be doing. They should literally just say, Vance Bolter, alleged assassin, accused and arrested, wrote letter claiming Tim Walz instructed him to assassinate.
Period.
Horrible PR for Tim Walz, but
But if it's true, it's true. Yeah. And it is not the job of a news organization to inject loaded language like the word rambling and conspiratorial. Right. Those are opinions, not facts.
I'm going to play this totally devil's advocate because I don't really care that much about it.
And put op-ed on the top of the article. Put op-ed.
If they said, if a crazy guy said something about you or somebody we know,
you'd have to move it off the front page.
No, it wouldn't be. No. Hold on. That's not true. Because when the Daily Beast lied and claimed that I had been accused of stealing a cat, who had the cat, Ian? Who had the cat?
I think I had the cat.
You had the cat.
I was taking very good care of the cat. Betsy's a wonderful woman. I love her.
And they got
her back to her owner.
And they wrote Tim Pool accused of stealing cat. They could have written police deny Tim Pool had cat after wild accusation. They could have done that. Instead, this is the game we get with the corporate press. They will inject opinion into a story they want you to believe to be false. And they will remove all opinion on stories that are absurd and ridiculous if they can smear their political opponents.
But is it true? That's what you're saying? This is not an example? They wrote a news story about you stealing a cat?
Yes. So here's what happened. There was somebody I worked with. She left her cat in the care of Ian.
Oh.
I texted her and said, come get your cat.
Oh.
She said, no. I said, I don't know, man. Ian, figure it out.
I did.
She then made a video saying my cat's been stolen or whatever, and called the police. The police called me and says, do you have a cat? And I say, no. And they were like, well, we got a call from someone saying you have a cat. And I was like, there's a man who works for me who has that cat in question. I can put you in contact with him. And he was like, look, I have no idea what's going on. Can we arrange something? And then we worked out, we'll send the cat to a shelter. They can come get it. And then the police told the Daily Beast, Tim Pool did not have possession of the cat. Ian Crossland was in possession of the cat. It was delivered to a shelter where it was picked up and unharmed. And the Daily Beast still wrote the headline, Tim Pool accused of stealing cat.
Wait, the Daily Beast is the one that wrote that the little boy in the face paint at the Kansas City game.
I think so.
That he was a white supremacist.
Maybe not.
That wasn't the Daily Beast?
It might have been. I don't remember. But then Twitter, when it was still Twitter at the time, put that on its trending tab for 2 weeks. It was just like, what the is going on?
The cat thief.
I love that cat. I wanted to keep her for myself, I'll be honest. Not really. I wanted to get her back to her proper place.
A nice cat.
She was beautiful. Yeah, she would like jump on my lap. She'd walk up and like look at you or at me, and I'd be like, and then she'd jump on my lap and curl into a ball. Like we had it good. Wow. It was all good.
She was climbing in the walls.
Yeah, Betsy and Bucko would terrorize her. They were happier when she went back home. I know for sure. That was so. Hey, Daily Beast. I don't have a lot of love for I don't have a lot of love for them. They do it wrong. I feel like if they're going to do stuff like that and misrepresent.
So let's just say it again. The Star Tribune has written an article that they are purporting to be fact, but the phrase rambling and conspiratorial are opinion statements. Now, what they're doing is they're attributing it to the FBI. It says addressed to the FBI. Okay, people with direct knowledge say it's rambling and conspiratorial. This could mean a journalist, people who saw it. They play these dirty games, okay? Now, I don't think there's a very high probability this guy was actually instructed by Tim Walz to do anything because extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. I'm only pissed off because I'm sick of news outlets that write opinion pieces masquerading as fact. That way, when people Google search it, they are told to come to a conclusion before they've even read any of the details. This is how they smear the right. This is how they smear Trump.
It's bullcrap for them to put those descriptors in there and act as if they basically are, it's already pre-assumed fact that those descriptors of the man and his ramblings, that those are accurate. But they do that all the time. And what you're talking about is like you go to somebody who, kicks puppies for a living and you're like, kicking puppies is wrong. Well, he's getting paid to kick puppies. He's not even going to hear it. That's what these people are like. They're paid to propagandize.
I think Klobuchar is not even up for re-election until 2030.
Right. She just was elected again.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like, who's not even running for Senate? Well, it's 5 years away from that election. Why? Do you see how they're doing this? When they write Tim Walz, quote, comma, who is not running for the Senate, that is a weasel phrase. Okay? If it were true that he wanted Klobuchar out of the picture to run in 2030, why would you include he wasn't running? The argument would be that he's trying to run 5 years from now. They are loading this so that you make this is what they do when Trump says something. It'll be like, Trump calls Nazis fine people or whatever. They will write a story which says Trump, comma, who called neo-Nazis fine people, comma, says that a trade deal with China will be beneficial. And you're like, wait, why did they include that? That's what they've been doing for years.
Yeah, I mean it's been like 15 years now.
Yep.
Since little kids had the opportunity to write blogs on the internet, basically.
Well, I mean, it might have come from blogging. It's possible that the style of journalism, we'll call it, has changed so much in the 15 years because, there was a time where, blogs were all the rage and stuff. And so that might have been the deal. But
here's another thing, too. Like, here's the Daily Beast story. YouTube star Tim Pool's news site collapses amid allegations he took a cat hostage. Which is the headline is
That's
fake
awesome.
in every capacity because CNR still operates.
Wow.
In fact, Taylor Swift.
Language is unbelievable that you took a cat hostage.
It makes you picture him like with a gun, pointing a gun, holding the cat, like clinging it to his chest kind of
That's
energy.
exactly what happened.
It's bizarre.
Well, that's Will Summer for you. He just makes stuff up.
Will Summer.
Oh, that was Will Summer.
And hold on. And what is that?
That's
what kind of cat is
hilarious.
this?
Not the cat that we, not Betsy.
Not Betsy.
Not my love.
Not your love, Bets.
Will contacted me. I didn't give him anything on this. I didn't know what to say. I mean, I was just getting the cat back to the owner. That's all I cared about. Taking good care of her. It was so weird that they did this. It's like
Slow news day.
And 2 days after my birthday.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Unacceptable.
And they conflated it with the scanner.
They cannot allow. We can no longer allow these kinds of attacks near your birthday. There has to be some kind of civilization here. We have to. We can't just allow everything to go down to the toilet.
So, like, if a crazy guy says, a dude told me to go do, that wouldn't make the news. But if then it's a governor and the guy actually tried an assassination attempt.
This guy worked for Tim Walz.
He worked for him.
Well, so this guy was appointed by Tim Walz to the board of governors or something like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I'm
You
like,
didn't know that?
No.
when they're
yeah.
loading the language to make it seem like it's impossible, and it's like, but this guy was friends with Tim Walz.
I've read at least 3 or 4 articles about the guy. I've not seen that fact. Not yet.
Yeah. There's still an active argument going on the internet as to who this boy belongs to. Like, does he belong to the right or does he belong to the left?
Here you go.
Well, they love that.
Yeah.
What are Vance Luther Bolter's politics? Alleged Minnesota assassin was appointed by Tim Walz, voted for Trump. That's what they say.
How did they know he voted for Trump?
Well, let me just pull up the part where he was appointed by Tim Walz because that matters.
His roommate threw him right under the bus.
Right. His roommate said that.
Which
I
I
don't
don't know
believe the
why he has
roommate.
a roommate. He's married and has kids.
Right, I don't believe the roommate.
So 2 notices of appointment for Bolter to the governor's workforce development board were obtained by KTTC, although the exact motivations for his crimes are unclear. Okay, so he was appointed by Walz to the governor's workforce board and then claimed that Walz told him to kill these people. Okay. I mean, maybe we should look into that.
Yeah. So his friend said that he voted for him.
He was reappointed to the board by Walz in December of 2019 as a business member for a term that expired in 2023.
Yeah.
Oh, so he had worked for Walz. Maybe he has anger with Walz or something after having worked with him. I don't believe this guy. I mean, it's gonna, like you said,
Yeah.
extraordinary evidence. If that's you want to back that statement up.
I'm going to need to see, he voted for Trump. He, in addition to his I voted sticker, he was also wearing a Trump T-shirt that he had to turn inside out when he was in the poll because he wouldn't allow him in. Something serious.
Apparently, he had some literature from the No Kings.
No,
protest.
it's just white pieces of paper with no kings written on it.
Oh, my bad.
Just the
my
phrase.
bad.
I can show you the image. It's just this. Now, these are flyers. So some people tried making the argument because they didn't show the images. They said he had flyers for no kings. Do you think he was going to attack them? Then you actually look and you're like, oh, no. Those were signs handmade likely by him for no kings, indicating that he intended to spread the message. If it was a flyer with a date and a location, you could make the argument he was planning on targeting it. This just looks like he agreed with him.
Yeah.
I didn't get the beginning. I missed the top of the story, or I wasn't here when you guys discussed it before. Did he actually assassinate someone, or was
Yes,
he
2 people.
Yeah.
One person still in critical condition. He he dressed as a cop, put on a latex mask, had a fake cop car with the lights, red and blue lights, knocked on the door when they opened. He went bang, 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 bang,
Knocked on their
bang,
car,
bang,
like
bang,
pulled
bang.
him over and knocked
No, he
on
pulled up to their house.
Pulled up there. Wow.
Wearing a mask with a fake police uniform, knocked on the door. It was a former Democrat and his wife, and a former Democrat and her husband. A current Democrat and her husband. No, it was a former Democrat. The woman was former, right? Mm-hmm. As a former Democrat and her husband, and a current Democrat and his wife. And he knocked on the door. They opened it, and he started blasting.
It makes me think. I just a friend of mine told me, like, if the cops come to your house and they knock and they want to talk to you, like, are they really cops? You got to find that out.
Right. So
He had a mask on. So, I mean, that was one.
But it was a fake person. It was a latex mask that looked like a person.
Oh, I thought it. Okay, well.
Yeah. So I think I have a
but
picture. There you go. Look.
Here's the issue with this whole thing. If he was a Republican, why would he shoot her? The legislator he shot and killed just crossed over and voted with the Republicans in the state legislature there to stop giving medical benefits to illegal aliens.
Yes.
She crossed over. So she crossed over and voted with the Republicans. So why would a MAGA supporter, a Trump supporter, shoot someone who was actually implementing the Trump agenda at the state level? He wouldn't.
The argument was that it was a Democrat being like, "You're a traitor. You've betrayed us."
Well, I believe he's a Democrat. I don't
Right.
believe he's a Republican.
The argument was that he's actually a Democrat appointed
Yeah.
by Walz.
Yeah,
And then
I believe that.
targeted these people because they crossed the line and
Yeah.
they were traitors to the party.
But he said they voted for Trump, or that he voted for Trump.
Yeah, a guy with family and kids had a best friend roommate. Nobody believes that.
I don't believe it.
It's possible that this guy, it's not even, well, it's probably politically motivated in some fashion, him working with Walz and targeting political, but it might not be like right and left energy here. It might just be like a psychopath, broken psychopath by the system, lashed out
Maybe-
at people
maybe.
he knew.
Or he was told to do it by Walz. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.